Okay guys, so we have our 3 different compositions. So we've got a composition of 1920 by 2700, and I've just got a grid system of 12 columns by 12 rows. And yeah, the type is just positioned and scaled within those rows, and this is a quarter of that. And yeah, the shapes obviously just slot into the grid system wherever we can. And yeah, this is called style frames. This helps us inform where we position our stuff in After Effects. Just going to export these out and then we can start playing with them in After Effects. So yeah, see you in After Effects. Okay, so we're going to make a new composition of 1920 by 2700, and then yeah, 20 seconds, 60 frames per second, and we press OK. I'm now going to bring in my PDFs. So just drop them in, and I am going to throw my initial one, which is, it's this one, so frame 6. So I'm going to throw this in like so. Okay, so we can just right click on this, create shapes from vector layer. So we can delete the PDF, and now we've just got some points to actually snap things to. So if we go back into Figma and press T, and we can just copy this by Command C, going back into After Effects, Shift Alt Command T, Command V. That's going to allow us to instantly bring in our formats. And I'm just going to copy the point size from here and bring this into After Effects like so, and that's going to give us the right point size. So what I can do now is just press Y, position that right on the edge of that shape, and then I can just snap it exactly to where it is on the PDF. So that's good. Slightly different, but that shouldn't really be too much of a problem. Just double checking. So we've got a little bit of tracking here, but we just bring this tracking in ever so slightly, we're going to get a better representation of that. So yeah, that's locked into there like there. Just going to select that layer, and I'm actually going to start with A3 house. So I'm going to press here, and I'm going to type A3 house. Make sure it's left aligned and snapping that in, pressing Y and just snapping that in there. And yep, poster. And I'm just going to make sure the leading is the same. The leading is the width between the distance between the 2 lines. So yeah, that looks spot on. Just going to make sure this is okay. Just going to turn these all back to 0. I don't think we need any tracking on this for this animation. So yeah, we've got our first typographic layer. So we're going to duplicate this and just bring it up. I can delete poster now and just type out A3 house, and I can divide this by 4 to get the right point size, and just snap that to there, and then Command C, Command selecting our layer, copy and paste that A3 house. So research labs, you know, you can really use any copy here, and I'm just going to divide the leading by 4 as well, and just making sure that that's roughly in line. I'm just going to set the anchor point to there and just snapping that to those points there. Again, duplicating this layer, bringing it up. Again, dividing the point size by 4 and the leading by roughly 4, something like that. Maybe that should do. And we can just bring that anchor point up and just snap that there. So yeah, we're just building out the PDF, and yeah, once we've got the build, we can look into moving these points to the next composition. So just positioning this correctly. These points don't actually, or this text doesn't actually move, but we're going to position it anyway. So yeah, right. So we've got our typographic layers. So if we hide this, we can see we've got our main composition. Now we need these boxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back into Figma and just grab the width and height of this stuff. So 1840 by 640. So if we go on our shape layer and double click and then go into our size, and just, yeah, we can just position these correctly and select our anchor point, and then just snap everything in like so. Duplicate this and grab this width like so, and snapping that down there. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this to the top and just grab this color for these like so. Actually, for the tutorial, let's go this color here. Let's grab this color from here. Can now delete that screenshot and we can delete this. So we've got our first composition. So what we're going to do now is select all of these, hit P, and drag that a second along. And now we're going to bring in our second composition. So that is frame 7. And I'm going to hit T and just drop the opacity on this. Okay, so everything is going to be a second long. So we're going to select our A3 house, and we're initially going to move it along here. So, and we're going to move that there like that. And then we're going to drag this up. So that horizontal movement is 30 frames, and then the movement up is 30 frames. And we're just going to snap that in like that, like so. And yeah, A3 house, that stays the same. So this needs to move up to here. So if we actually create shapes from a vector layer and then delete this, we'll be able to snap points to this. So go back, see how that moves. Hit P, set the position and scale, and go to 30 seconds. Can move it to there, and then we're just going to scale it up like so. Perfect. And then this one here, this is going to need to do 2 movements. So we're going to go back to 30 frames and hit the scale and position. So S and P, selecting that. So our initial movement is just going to be to move it horizontally. So like so, holding shift, going along, and then snapping that there, and then we can just scale it down. This might look slightly weird, but we can adjust all of this stuff as time goes on. So we're going to make this movement here and the scale for this there. So it's going to slide along and then move up, and then everything is going to look like it's self-referential, kind of flexible, like so. Okay, so if we hide this for a second, our template, you can see how this is moving. Great, so this needs to now mask in and out. So the way I'm going to do that is just grabbing a shape layer and just masking the individual lines like this. So on the mask, I'm just going to keyframe the mask, like so, and then just moving it like so. And then its position, I'm going to be moving it down here, and then I can pull these masks out again, and then selecting our template, we can just move these to the correct position. And I'm just going to type PX here, so we'll see how that looks. So we're just going to go 1 frame along and just move this position value here, so it doesn't look like it's moved. Okay, so again, just making its position as close as possible, literally next frame, so it just looks like it's snapping like so. And then we're just going to move on to the last style frame. So yeah, we're not adding any easy ease yet, because we just want to define that motion before we kind of stylize the movement. So bringing in our last frame, we can just scale this down a little bit so we can hold for 30 seconds or 30 frames, sorry. So we're just going to select all of our keyframes and duplicate that, and then going along there. So we're just going to start with our main header, so bringing this down. So we're just going to bring this above everything so we can see it for now, like so. Then we're going to move our secondary kind of header, A3 house. Just going to move this upwards, and yeah, just copying the same process. And yeah, I'll see you once I've done this. Okay, so once you've repeated that process, you should get something that looks something like this. So pretty basic at the moment. So yeah, now we need to actually kind of stylize this movement. So we're going to select all of the keyframes by going Command A, hitting U, and selecting all of our keyframes. We're going to right click, Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease, go into our graph editor, make sure you're editing the speed graph, and we're just going to select everything. So yeah, all of our keyframes, and just zooming in on a specific area that we're interested in. So somewhere here maybe. We're just going to move this in and see how this moves. So we've probably added a little bit more ease on this. So again, we've got to zoom out, select all of our keyframes, zoom in on a specific area, like here, selecting everything, zooming in on a specific area, and just seeing how it works. Okay, so once we've got this, we're just going to duplicate our composition, go into our second duplicate, select everything and delete it, come into here, and when we get to 4 seconds, we're just gonna alt right square bracket, We're going to duplicate it and go time reverse layer and just snap this there with the left square bracket. So we should now get a looping animation.